I'm Jeff Schwartz, and this is Schwartz Performance February shop update video. Let's go out in the shop and see what we got going on this month. We've got a bunch of chassis here in final assembly. I'm looking at about 7 of them here. This one is our latest C10 chassis. This one is for a 68 C10. We've made a bunch of significant upgrades to the C10 chassis. We've got our beefy 6-inch rail like we always had, and we've gone to a laser notch design that requires a little less welding and it makes it a little more integrated. We've also added some more braces in the back. We've updated our rack and pinion. We've got a different transmission crossmember mounting system with multiple holes, so you can put virtually any transmission in here without ordering a different crossmember. We've gone to a rectangular diagonal brace here to the forward control arm crossmembers, and we've got big beefy tubes here along with our triangulated 4-link that we've had before. So a lot cleaner design, a lot more strength, and updated manufacturing. This is the chassis for the 57 Ford Custom that we're building. That is a 57 Ford Custom car, not to be confused with the Ford Fairlane, but shorter wheelbase, two-door post car. Anyway, this is the chassis. Last month I showed it to you. It had just come back from powder coat and it was all wrapped up, but we've now got it fully assembled and awaiting for the car to get painted and bodyworked and then put back on the chassis. This is that 57 Chevy that we're doing the chassis and powertrain swap. We've got the firewall all completely refinished and painted, as well as the dashboard. The dashboard was a glossy red that didn't match the red leather in the interior, so we repainted it to match the red leather, and then also it has more of a satin finish so it doesn't glare off the windshield. The one thing that first-time car builders do is they'll put a shiny dash in it or paint their dash shiny, and it looks really great until you start to drive the car. There's such a glare off the windshield, you can barely see out the windshield sometimes. Anyway, we've got our retro kit on here on the engine. The customer did request that we put chrome valve covers on there, and we will be changing those right before it gets delivered to him. We have them in stock, but we don't want to risk anything getting bumped or whatever. So should be fun getting this thing all wired up, and it'll be a lot more reliable with all new wiring in it. This is that Roadrunner I've been talking about. I know I've said 69 and I know I called it a 70, but it is in fact a 69 Roadrunner with a gigantic Ray Barton hemi engine, old school dual quad carburetors, and so forth. Anyway, it runs now. It sounds so mean. Keep an eye out for our reels on Facebook and Instagram, and we will post a reel of this thing starting up shortly. So anyway, still final details to get done. It's going to the interior shop shortly, and the glass guy's coming to put the glass in there. So really close to the final stages here on this 69 Roadrunner. We've been working away on this first-gen Camaro. We've gotten a lot of the wiring done. We've got some sound deadening insulation in there. We've got trunk weather strips and various things on there. We still got a little bit more wiring to do on the engine. We have the engine wiring harness laid out in the engine, but we got to route some things and hook everything up, and then it should be ready to fire pretty soon. Well, here's a blast from the past. It's my 1982 Fleetwood Brougham that we called Cadillac Attack. 500 cubic inch Caddy engine in there now. When I built it years ago, it had a Olds diesel when I purchased it, and then I put a 455 Olds in there because it bolted right in where the diesel was, and it wasn't subject to any emission inspection and so forth. But now it's got a real Caddy engine. I think I put that in 2002 when the Oldsmobile broke a valve spring and dropped a valve and blew everything up on the Hot Rod Power Tour. Anyway, 5 episodes of Hot Rod TV with this thing, and a lot of fun with it. If you want more info on this, just Google Jeff Schwartz Cadillac and it'll come up all over Google. So I won't bemoan you with a bunch more details on it. But anyway, the Turbo 400 that was in it finally bit the dust. I put a fuel injection system on it last summer, and we were dyno testing it. I put a hotter roller cam in there, and while it was on the dyno, shortly after I got it back from being on the dyno, the transmission started acting up, and it had been built many years ago, so had it rebuilt, and it's sitting here ready to go back in, so it should be back on the road shortly. This is that 70 Nova that I was showing you last month, where we had done some work here on the fenders. All the fabrication is now completed. This is fully welded, and we just need to do a little body work and repaint the quarters. So this wheel well looks more stock. It's still 1 inch higher than original, but it was way up here, and we moved it down to close to the stock position. The reason we raised it 1 inch from stock was so we could get that big tall tire out of there without disconnecting the leaf springs or the shocks to get the rear end to drop down further. So it looks closer to stock, not 100% completely stock, but this is what the customer wanted, and we are all done with this part of the fabrication. We are working on some window mechanism issues. This side, the window didn't roll up and down, and there were some worn parts in there. So we're going ahead and replacing essentially the wear items and the felt strips and the fuzzies that go on here on both sides of the back window, so that stuff works properly for the customer. The rear seat had to get modified slightly for the mini tubs, and that's all been done as well. So just basically finish up the window assembly, and then we got to paint those quarters. This is that Miata race car that we had in here last month where it got wrecked. And we've got a new fender on there, a new quarter on here, and a door. Unfortunately, the car is a little bit old. It's a 2004 model, and Mazda has discontinued the doors, so I had to get a used door. And the door that I got had power door locks, which has a different door mechanism, like latching mechanism. So I had to order some other parts that have been discontinued to latch the door, because the ones that were in the door originally were damaged and not usable, and the one on the new door was a different type of mechanism for power door lock. So anyway, we've got that coming, and then this door will latch perfectly, and we do have to do a little paint work here because the fender and the quarter are still in primer, but the cage has all been fabricated on this side once again because of the crash damage. So we basically refabbed the entire cage on this side, and it's looking pretty good. We've got to, once we're done with these repairs, then we got to go on and go through the preparation for next year's racing. So, you know, check the brake pads, refreshing the fluid, and double check alignments and that kind of thing. This is a new project that recently came in. It's a Challenger, and it has some bolt-in suspension components in the front and the rear. So what we're going to do is put some subframe connectors in there, weld in from front to the rear to stiffen the chassis. It does run, and it has a Hellcat engine in here. And we're going to basically just kind of go over some workmanship issues and finish the build for the customer. So no matter what products you have in your project, we're happy to build it for you. So we've been working pretty feverishly on this Bronco now that we got some of our drivetrain components. We've got the chassis in there, motor transfer case. We've modified the tunnel to fit the levers to shift it in and out of four-wheel drive. We've got our roll bar in there. There's a couple other tubes in there that are not staying. They're just temporary to kind of hold. When we had the body all by itself, it was a little flexible, so we actually bolted some other bars in there to the roll bar to keep the body from twisting and flexing. But so some of that will be removed. The bar going forward and the front hoop are going to be removed. But we've got a lot of work yet to do on this, but we're going forward full steam ahead. This is the Firebird we've been working on, BFG Firebird. Anyway, we don't have the headers finished yet. We were working on them last video. People taking time off, ran into some problems, needed some more material, etc. But anyway, I promise you the headers will be done by the end of the week. And we'll show them to you on next month's video. We'll get this wrapped up real soon. Well, I know it seems like we don't have many projects going on here at Schwartz Performance. However, we have 5 cars being painted right now that have been completely fabricated, and we have 2 that are at upholstery shops, the 70 Charger and the Lime Green Challenger are at upholstery shops. So we hope to have all of that stuff back here for next month's video, and you can see all that stuff going together in the final assembly process. Thanks for watching. Be sure and check out our reels and hit that subscribe button.